Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Today we have Mr. Apurv Mishra, founder and CEO of 10 Minute. Good morning, sir, and welcome to Business World.
Morning. How are you doing?
I'm very well, sir. I hope you're doing well too in these trying times.
Doing our best.
Sir, in the last one or slightly over 1 year, it has been difficult times for most businesses and for individuals at a personal level as well. How has it been for you in terms of your company and on the personal front as well?
Well, actually, it has been quite contrasting, to be very honest. Personally, of course, all of us are as affected as anyone. Something that we would like it to be over as quickly as possible. A lot of changes we have to, be adjusting in our lifestyles. But primarily in the business for us, it has been a season to do more business. Obviously, given that this is an essential service industry where we are in. So since the day when, in fact, the lockdown was announced, we have faced the problem of a significant surge in the demand, and the business problem from getting more number of customers changed to how we are going to be serving the customers who are coming to our platform. So that has been quite a journey, I would say. Managing the people who are going to be running the business, especially when there is a lockdown situation. Every family, especially in the first phase, the first wave of the corona, everybody was scared. How would you ask them to come down to the place and serve to the customers, especially in a community where there could be a lot of cases which are piling up? We are a community, a complex model. So that has been definitely a big challenge for us. But as far as the business is concerned, simply because of the fact that a lot of other means and methods had been closed, it provided us a good opportunity to present ourselves as the solution that we always wanted to provide and leverage on that. However, almost every 1 month we keep on seeing some or the other new challenge. That's a part of the new lifestyle after COVID. The suppliers have their own issues. Then the logistics come with their own issue. And then the cyclic character of the corona, which obviously all of us know about, is something which we have to adjust accordingly. Now, again, the number of cases have died down. When most of the people, even our customers, started to think that probably this is going to be over. This is just the last phase. And just about the time, it has hit us even worse than how it had hit us earlier. So that is something which is definitely a challenge for us to navigate through. But I'm sure that with the means and methods that everybody is taking, we are also adapting and innovating constantly. It is going to be over sometime soon in future.
And when we talk about the business front, there are already many e-commerce platforms and more are coming up in the startup space. Right. How did you seek the inspiration to start 10 Minute, given that there's already a saturation in the market, so to say?
True. Saturation of the products, yes, but still a need of solution, I would say. Actually, I had started my first venture back in 2014, which was primarily into the consumer internet space for home services. And we tried and tested almost everything that we would have loved to do, but still the results were not as soothing as an entrepreneur would like, mainly because of the mismatch in the profitability equations. Unit economics is not making sense. The acquisition cost for the customer is so high, and then the retention cost along with that most of the startups keep on burning, and that's not a journey that we wanted to have. That time, surprisingly, about a couple of years ago, when I was in at my friend's place in a community, I saw that the retailer, the local shop which was present in the community, had almost good connections with almost everybody in the community. They knew everybody by their faces. They were able to interact with them, so try out this product. And of course, without asking questions, most of the people were trying that. Something that we see in small towns. That made us to think that if at all we want to acquire the customer and retain them, build that kind of a relationship, why not merge the two different verticals together? That is the time when we thought that the retail, especially hyper-local retail for just one community, could probably be merged together with the concept of our home services through the app. And that is where the 10 Minute idea incepted back in 2019. And the good thing was, I should not say COVID has been a good thing, but the advantage for us has been that the hyper-local character of our business model, that everything should be available within the doorstep, at the doorstep within the community itself, got validated. And hence, we are currently the only startup at this point of time who are providing all type of retail services to our customers, as well as all the infrastructure related services that their house would be needing. And in fact, now we are adding other verticals from the healthcare to car and bike repair services at the door. So that is a curated platform only for just a fixed residence of a community, which is not as broader as any other e-commerce website or e-commerce models in the industry would be. So because of that niche character of how we function and how we operate with our consumers, we have found ourselves to be in a very healthy space and have been seeing the traction that earlier we wouldn't have seen given the saturation of so many products out there in the market.
So given that you rightly said yours is a very unique startup in the sense that you cater to hyper-local needs, your challenges and difficulties would have been different from established e-commerce platforms, especially given that the 1 year was in lockdown and your startup is about 2 years old. What were the challenges you faced during this time and how did you overcome them?
We are still overcoming them, many of the challenges, still in the process, I would say, but extremely unique type of problems that we have faced in this kind of a hyper-local setup. Of course, one of the biggest one that I've personally found has been dealing and interacting rightly with the apartment associations. Especially when association is a group of individuals in different communities belonging to different demographies and have different needs. Every community, every group is very different from just the next one. So that is where we need to curate our offerings for most of them. That has been something that we are still trying to wrap our head around what we shall be doing. And as soon as we do, then we have seen, especially now that 1 year is over, the association changes. And then we need to press that restart button. Of course, not in all the things, but in many of the things that we had started to make a good headway with. So that curation, however, that's an advantage of a model like ours, is still a work in progress challenge, I would say. But we have found some of the techniques that allow us. We have been able to find the right balance between how we should be doing various type of services and what should be the mix and match, where we should be rigid and where are the flexibilities that we can afford to have. But that is something that I still is going to be a good learning for us in this financial year. And it keeps on changing based on how the pandemic also reacts and in which part of the town it is. And another very interesting factor has been we are the only people who are going to be operational in a spatially containment zone or the places where the cases are very high on a regular basis. It's not just let's come for a day in a month or in a week and then get away with it. We have our people being exposed to almost every resident on a daily basis. And especially when the community is under lockdown and there are so many number of cases rising, that becomes a challenge. And taking care of our employees is of utmost importance at that point of time, along with ensuring that our customers are satisfied. So that is something that we definitely are trying. We are probably going to be extremely strict compared to any other supermarket or a home service provider that you would think of in the market, simply because of the vast exposure with the same community people that we have. That is what we need to definitely keep our eyes toward.
Right, sir. And when we talk about the lockdown communities, the containment zone, so to say, how is your startup being unique in delivering services where other established e-commerce platforms are not able to reach?
That has been quite a learning for me as well. I had never imagined the kind of support that we are going to be getting. That actually COVID has consolidated our belief that this is going to be the way to crack this industry. I am aware personally as a consumer in living in such a similar kind of a community that most of the e-commerce websites had shut down, especially during the first lockdown. And even when the unlocking started, there was a delay. The reverse logistics was a nightmare for any of the startup at that point of time. So whatever you have got is what you have got. Quality decreased. But for us, we had to navigate through that because unlike any other company, we are the guest in the community. People have come to us to buy, but at the same time, we have been allowed to sell them by giving a place graciously within the community complex itself. So we cannot afford to have reduction in any kind of quality metric that a customer would like us to be holding to. And that is the a part where we have found it to be extremely challenging. But I have seen that when we were struggling, obviously at some point of time, the residents and the apartment association groups have come down. They have arranged the stores. They have been doing the work of a cashier. They have been helping in the delivery. In fact, we had a lot of trouble with the logistics, especially going to each and every house in the PPE kit. It reduces the time that you are going to be, it increases the time that you are going to be taking for delivery. But the security guards in the community, to the housekeeping staff of the community, have graciously helped us, not just once, but consistently over last few quarters. And that is a part where actually you will not be finding in any other e-commerce. The residents do not believe that it's a 10-minute store. In fact, it's quite surprising, but I always like when they say that, no, this is not 10-minute store. Your brand is not important, but you guys are important. It's our store. It's our community store. And that got reflected when they stood up, when they stepped up, and when we were struggling, they actually helped us to navigate through that. So unlike any other startup, the challenges of the logistics and serving the customers got reduced for us, and our entire focus was on just ensuring that the supply chain works. So we have gone all over the place as much as much we can by at one point of time for the curated demand of our residents. We knew exactly how many kgs of rice we are going to be needing in which community, rather than taking a hit and trial and trying to procure whatever we could. So that predictability and a certain assured sell prospect is something that allowed us to focus only on the supply chain, while our residents stood up and filled all the gaps, forgetting about the service delivery. They filled those gaps, and now we are up and running. And definitely being in the community reduces a lot of risks for us, logistically speaking. When the lockdown was announced, most of the communities have allowed our people to stay within the community itself, which is very unique. I don't find that anywhere else. They had been given a flat where they and their families could live, just coming down to the store to operate it for 12 hours a day and then coming back. That is something which again allowed us extra leverage to be able to function at our best during the time when most of the people were down.
So when you talk about things like logistics and supply chain, the coronavirus is taking its toll again on the population, especially in metropolitan cities. What lessons have you taken in the supply chain management in the first round of the virus that you are going to implement in the second round of shutdown?
Well, my personal lesson has been, no matter how much you plan, and yes, every company would plan, at the end of the day, the most important thing is improvisation. You would have planned for almost every scenario in your mind, and then suddenly a very random event is going to be happening, which is nowhere in your control, and then suddenly you need to improvise. Especially for us, for a smaller startup like ours, we had, just for a simple example, one place, one warehouse, where we were inviting almost every supplier to come, and then we used to have our own logistics support to deliver that to all the stores. That became a nightmare. Suddenly, in that area of 18-kilometer travel for one of the store, one or the other place is going to be always under lockdown. And just simply because of those diversions, the truck will not reach on time, or some or the other problem would happen. So we decided that it has to be, while our customer service is hyperlocal, we need to ensure that the delivery is also very hyperlocal. So we have multiple hubs across Bangalore. We are not having a centralized warehousing system anymore. There are more than 6 places. Currently, there are 6 places in Bangalore where we are, in case the lockdown happens, those places are going to be enough to fulfill all the demands in the local cluster of the stores which we are having, and having multiple backup options from the supply. At one point of time, we are dependent upon just few of the partners. But the good thing is that many of the people, the entrepreneurs, have stood up really during the COVID time. You wouldn't realize the number of increment in the small enterprises that have come up in the essential business category. So that allows us to have multiple options. Just one person is down or one company is down, we can still afford to procure. Farmers have been struggling to sell their products. We have been able to reach out directly to the farmers in many parts of nearby Karnataka region. So that has been again a good learning for us, deepening our supply chain, overall processes. Reach definitely is something, and then segregating it in cluster-based approach has allowed us to prepare for such kind of instances. But at the end of the day, as I said, improvisation is the most important thing. I'm blessed to have a great team of headstrong people who tell me the solutions after, as soon as they have hit a problem. So that is something that adds a great value. If you have your employees right, I'm sure that these kind of problems would have one or the other solution that you can adopt.
Yes, sir. As they say, don't put all the eggs in one basket. Diversification is certainly really important, especially these days. So when we talk about diversification from 10-minute angle, in addition to warehousing and expanding in and around Karnataka, what are your expansion plans in the next 5 years?
We are going to be painting the top 7 cities of the country with our colors in next 3 years, not even 5 years, because now we are extremely confident that this model works. And the good thing is we are extremely focused. We are not considering India to be a 130 plus crore people market. We know that our target segment is those 3 odd crore people households which are living in the apartment complex, and primarily most of them are being constructed such kind of complexes in the top 7 metro cities of the country. So by next year we are going to be in 3 more cities, and next year in 22-23 we are going to be present in the remaining 3 cities as well. And the objective, of course, is to penetrate as much as possible in all the top communities. When I say top, I don't mean simply mean the biggest complexes are the obvious target for us. But for us, especially because of the fact that we are not just a one vertical player like retail or maybe just home services, we are the unique mixture of all. Our model allows us, economically speaking, to break even as well as sustain in smaller communities too. So any complex in these cities which is more than 100 households is going to be our target segment, and we are going to be present in at least 100 communities by the end of this financial year, the new financial year that has just started, and as good as about 800 is our target in next 3 years time.
Right. So given the speed at which 10-minute is expanding, do we have international expansion on the cards as well?
In my mind, yes. I would love to go any place wherever it would allow me to take my business model. But as I said, we have to be focused. We cannot afford to be diverging too much. Taking up the challenge of opening in the top 7 cities of the country is big enough. Every place would have its own demographic changes that we need to adapt to. Supply chain, of course, would change. The customers' preferences are going to be changing. So I think that is good enough of a challenge to pick up in the first couple of years. And why not? In maybe next 2 years' time, we would be at a position where our plans have started to materialize, and we can think about the geographies where such kind of a model would make sense outside India. But as of now, it's only in my dreams, but not in the plan and the pipeline of the company.
Right, sir. Before we let you go for the day, I wanted to ask you, given that you have handled your company in diverse situations, COVID and non-COVID, what advice would you have for upcoming entrepreneurs in the e-commerce field?
Well, I have so many of them, but I wouldn't bore you with all. I think the most important thing is patience and resilience. The perseverance is the most important factor for any entrepreneur. We keep on seeing. I have a bunch of my friends who tried to become entrepreneurs, who are still working on there. Many of them who have achieved great success that I would love to replicate myself. But the quick success mantra that we keep on seeing actually is not true. The hard work which actually goes for years and probably decades before that is something that most of us keep on forgetting. So a quick success, a quick fix never works for an entrepreneur. We need to keep our focus entirely on the solution, not on the matrix that many of us try to evaluate ourselves, that this is a Series A company, this is a Series B, Series C funded company. These are all just tools. Investment is the tool at the end of the day. So keep the focus only on the product that you're building or the solution that you're providing. Of course, have resilience and patience. It's going to be a slow exercise. It's not going to be happening overnight unless you are very lucky, and I would love to see that. And lastly, listen to the customers. I've seen that, especially when you become entrepreneur, many of the people would come to you and say that, hey, why don't you do this? And the vendors and the suppliers and every partner would come and say that these are the 10 ideas, why don't you try it? I would say listen most importantly and most abundantly to your customers. Any company that I've faced and used myself as a consumer, I've seen that the most best and the brilliant ideas come from the consumer as they are using it regularly. So if you customize and curate the platform as per your customers and you have your real ears to it, I'm sure that the product that you are creating over a period of time is going to be crossing that chasm and achieving the growth that you would have anticipated. So these 3-4 things is something that I would appreciate if the fellow entrepreneurs and myself, I'm trying to hold it to myself. I keep on swaying away to to the older self, but we need to be true to these few virtues in order to succeed.
Right, as they say, customer is king, and customer feedback has to be of utmost.
Customer is the king, and customer is the whisperer too. So you need to listen to those whispers.
Yes, word of mouth publicity is extremely important.
Absolutely.
Okay, so I'll take your leave for the day. Thank you so much for joining us at Business World.
Thanks a lot for inviting me. It was a real pleasure.
Same here, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.